is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is episode 314, part number 2 for your Saturday, February 22nd, 2020. And man, it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season if you're watching Raw and SmackDown, but it certainly feels like WrestleMania season right here on Off the Script. I have a ton of news and rumors coming out of WrestleMania season, a lot of which I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised with or very disappointed with. More likely disappointed, but we got a lot of WrestleMania news to go over, so don't go anywhere. I got news on Super Showdown, more matches being added to Super Showdown. A locker room pact is being made before the locker room flies out to Saudi Arabia. Apparently, no one in the WWE Locker Room wants anyone to go anywhere unless they fly together out of Saudi Arabia. So big news coming out of the WWE in regards to Super Showdown coming up this week. Also, I got news on Vicky Guerrero being blacklisted by WWE because she showed up on AEW Dark. I don't know what that tells you, folks, but it says one thing. And I've been preaching this one thing for many months now. You know what it is. Also, I have a former WWE superstar who is accusing WWE of stealing his creative ideas. Who is it? Is it anyone of importance? No. But apparently he is looking for clout, just like everybody, on social media. And I have big news about the WWE possibly bringing a major pay-per-view back to the United Kingdom, I hope. I've never been to the UK, man. Give me a reason to go out to the UK. I gotta sit with a nice, genuine Guinness. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing after this show is over. No question. I'm going to need it after that horrendous SmackDown Live episode on Fox. But anyway, we're not here to talk about SmackDown. Let's get right into the news, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is the best place. You guys should be following me because everything that I upload gets directly shot to the feed on Twitter. So make sure you guys do that. We are so close to 30,000 followers, and I'm still waiting for my blue check mark. YouTube just gave me my verified check mark. Now I'm waiting for Twitter. So hopefully that happens one day soon. Also follow me on Instagram. I'd love to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram. Make sure you guys do that for me as well. If you missed Off the Script yesterday, oh man, what a heated rant. I would have to put it up there in one of the best rants in the history of Off the Script. Who was the target of yesterday's rants? Baron Corbin and his idiotic response to Dave Meltzer not liking John Cena versus Elias being planned for WrestleMania. So we buried Corbin greater than Bruce could ever bury Baron Corbin under mountains and mountains of dog food. We buried him, and I take great pride in burying Baron Corbin. So make sure you guys go and check that out. The rant was so heated that I actually started to misquote myself. I was making mistakes in my rant because I was so heated. I went back and listened to it. I'm like, oh man, I fucked up there, but I don't give a shit. You guys know what I was ultimately aiming for and talking about. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Links will be down below for everything. Off the Script yesterday, we got SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynamite, and Monday Night Raw. Everything this week is linked down below in the description of this very video. Also, hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for all notifications. There's not one single podcast in this community that is going to give it to you like I will. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. And today, the podcast is brought to you guys by my good friends over at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. If you guys are listening to this podcast right now, I want you to do one thing for me right now. I want you guys to take a second and look down. Look down. When was the last time you guys shaved your junk? It's been a while, I know. We get lazy with it. Us as men get lazy with it, man. And don't lie to me either. I know you're lying to me, bro. Let's take a second to think about our sponsor today, Manscaped, for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shave your junk. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 Essentials Kit. Now, I gifted my best friend a Manscaped. I gave him a Manscaped 2.0. Now, I got the 3.0 because, I'm the guy here. So I gave him a Manscaped 2.0. He was so happy when I gave it to him. He looked me in the eye. We were drinking beers. We were watching the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix. Gave it to him. We were sharing some beers, and he looked at me directly in the face. He's like, man, I can't wait to go home and shave my balls. I laughed, and I took him very seriously with that statement. The perfect tools for your family jewels is the Manscaped 3.0 Essentials Kit. 3.0 kit comes with a new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, waterproof, cordless, and it's absolutely the best thing for your junk down below. This third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to the Manscaped's advanced technology, skin-safe technology. And, of course, let's not forget about the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits, I hope. Knowing the wrestling fans, or the majority of the wrestling fans in the community, probably not, but I would hope so. So why not put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? When you purchase the new Perfect Package 3.0 kit at Manscaped.com, you get the biggest bang for your buck. Subscribers get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. For a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value in itself, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. I wear them, and it's the best thing in the entire package. They are absolutely out of this world comfortable. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with code SCRIPTS right now at Manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. 20% off, free shipping, code SCRIPTS at Manscaped.com. And I want to thank them for supporting Off the Script. Whoa! Manscaped. Really like it, man. Let's get into the news. I got a lot to go over. Wasted enough of your time. Start with Super Showdown because this is the first in the line of pay-per-views coming up. We got the Super Showdown show in Saudi Arabia. Then we got the Elimination Chamber. And then we got WrestleMania. The big one. Will it live up to the hype? Probably not. It never does. Or at least in previous years, it has not lived up to the WrestleMania hype and the grandeur of WrestleMania. Speaking of Super Showdown, the WWE Locker Room is making sure nobody leaves Saudi Arabia without them again. There is an edict, there is a pact amongst the WWE Locker Room that they do not want what happened last time to happen again. Meaning that they don't want to get stranded with most of the roster there and all of the higher-ups and the officials and all the producers and the writers and Vince and Dunn and everybody out of there halfway through the show. This is WWE's fault. This is Vince McMahon's doing. This is management's doing. You want to go over there and you want to book a show on a Thursday knowing that you have SmackDown on Friday. You should stay there with everybody else because the captain has to go down with the ship if anything happens to said ship, right? That's the old motto. You can't be leaving halfway through the show all because you got SmackDown. Maybe don't book it on a Thursday, huh? How about that? Or how about you go and do the one thing that I recommended they do? If they're booking SmackDown, now this might be a little bit out of WWE's league. This might be a little bit too much work for Bruce. How about, here's one. This is something that is so fucking rudimentary. It's so fucking simple and just basic. You ready? How about you do long-term booking? I'm not talking about 3 to 6 months long-term. I'm talking about 1 week, 2 weeks at most long-term booking. Now, that's long-term booking in WWE's world. Long-term booking to me is like, a month, 2 months, 3 months. You know where you're going with the storyline right then and there, and you see it progress over a 2 to 3 month period. How about you set the show up for the 28th? No, what is it? The 27th, the Super Showdown? The 28th? How about you set the SmackDown show up on the 28th? You know who you need. You know who you're going to put on the show. You know what's going to be on the show. You know who's going to be needed at the show. And you keep those people in the United States and you don't send them over to Saudi Arabia. Because what is the difference if you keep them here or you send them there? If they're going over there, they factor into absolutely nothing. They will be forgotten about. Whatever they did will be forgotten about by the next day. The show will air at 12 o'clock here on the eastern part of the United States. I will forget about it that same night. I'll do the review. I wouldn't even bat an eye about watching Super Showdown again. It happens and no one wants to hear about it again. It's just there in the annals of WWE fucking time, Keep everybody here. There's no reason why you need to book someone who's going to be on that SmackDown show on Super Showdown. So Reigns, he doesn't need to be booked. Pretty sure he's going to be factoring into the Elimination Chamber build. Keep him here. Baron Corbin, keep him here. He's not factoring into anything over there, right? Anybody on SmackDown, really, that's been playing a major part of a role on SmackDown, keep them here. So that doesn't happen, and you don't have to have an emergency episode again, which I know they all hated, and it ended up being the best SmackDown of 2019. I wish it would happen again, because it would force WWE to do something that they are just so uncomfortable doing, and that is going outside of their bubble. Look what happened. Ended up being the best SmackDown episode of 2019. But the locker room doesn't want anything to happen again where they're stranded there and everybody else is, boarding flights and WWE's picking and choosing who they want on a flight to send back to the United States. The feeling of that, even though I do think the people that were complaining were the people who, always complain about their positioning in WWE. I heard from firsthand reports that a lot of the roster really didn't care, that they were accommodated very well, and that was just a minor inconvenience, and everybody had a gym and food and great luxury hotels provided to them. It was just the inconvenience of not getting back in time and waiting in an airport and being on a plane for 17 hours. It was just that inconvenience. But the majority of the people I heard from, or my source told me that the majority of the locker room really didn't complain all too much. It was those negative Nancy's on the roster who get sent over there to do nothing, and of course they feel inconvenienced, and they didn't really offer anything to the show. They didn't have any major part in the show. So those are the people that complain. But I get where the locker room is coming from. It's a family. It's a huge unit that works together. They don't want some of the locker room flying out when most of the locker room is being kept in Saudi Arabia grounded. They don't want that to happen again. So Mike Johnson stated on PW Insider Elite Audio that there is an official edict in the locker room concerning WWE's next trip to Saudi Arabia. Nobody is leaving unless they all leave together. Apparently, there are still some parties in the WWE that are concerned over the fact that WWE employees, or certain WWE employees, left before the Superstars last time. Mike Johnson says, and I quote, "I have been told that basically in the company there was an unofficial edict that stated we are all going together, we are all staying together, nobody's leaving early. If there's an issue, everyone is staying together. if you're not a wrestler and you're a part of the support staff, you're not leaving until the wrestlers leave, because there was some major anger on the wrestlers' end that some people who worked for the company left before the wrestlers did, and the wrestlers got stuck. And he went on to say, Mike Johnson did, "I'll be shocked if Vince McMahon isn't gone halfway through the show." Now, Vince McMahon has to show up because this is his doing. This is his deal. So he has to be there. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Vince McMahon reportedly hasn't even been at Raw and SmackDown. He could just chime in via Skype like he has been doing. But still, this is his doing. He's putting his roster out there. He's making his roster go out of the way in the middle of the week when they have weekly TV to produce, to fly to Saudi Arabia, which is not, a fucking hop, skip, and a jump away. It's not. So Vince has to show up. He has to show up. But then he also has to be at SmackDown. This is what I don't get. I don't know why they put themselves in this position. It's none of my business. Some of the people that are listening to me aren't even going to watch the show. You're either just not going to watch the show and not care altogether, or you're not going to watch the show and you're going to come listen to someone like me or someone else in the community who's going to cover the show and review the show so that you say to yourself, oh man, I'm glad I didn't watch the show. Or if it's a rare occasion, which is a 0% chance with shows like this, well, JD said it was good and I should go and watch it. Maybe I should go and watch it. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. WWE should really be thinking ahead. Keep who you need in the States so you don't get stuck with having an emergency episode of SmackDown. And it's the right thing to do. It's only right that if you are a part of the WWE family, you all fly out together. No single person is more important than anybody else. That's fucked up. It really is. So I understand where they're coming from. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting situation when they fly out there, which should be any day now. And, well, actually not any day now. Sometime early next week. They'll get there early, and it's going to be interesting to follow whatever stories come out of Saudi Arabia. Speaking of Super Showdown, it turns out that another match is about to be announced. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but Super Showdown will be getting another match confirmed in the coming days. It could be as of this Monday on Raw. NXT Superstar Mansoor took to Instagram where he indicated that he would be wrestling at the show. Of course he was. He's the only thing that has been consistent with these shows, and he's actually performed incredibly well on these shows. In the post, he shared a photo of Super Showdown's logo and a photo of him in the ring with a caption in Arabic that read, "Huh? Who do you want to wrestle with?" That was the quote. Also, Mansoor said in an interview with Arab News that he will be competing at Super Showdown, but though he doesn't, at this juncture, know who his opponent is. Of course, Mansoor signed with the WWE where he made his promotional debut at the greatest Royal Rumble event in 2018. This saw him team up with two other developmental talents that took out Arya Daivari and Sean Daivari at the end of the event. The following year, he won a 51-man Battle Royal at Super Showdown 2019. And then fast forward to the Crown Jewel event, he beat Cesaro in what was the best match of the entire show at that show. So, Mansoor and Cesaro, really good stuff. I wouldn't say I would go out of my way to rewatch it again, but watching live like I have to because this is what I do, seeing that was a pleasant surprise. And, I mean, it's Cesaro. Anybody's going to have a great match with Cesaro. You could put Cesaro in the ring with a fucking Victoria's Secret mannequin, and he's going to bring it to a 5-star match. Outside of wrestling at the Saudi Arabia shows, he's been working the NXT live house show circuit. I'd like to see him on NXT TV, or maybe in the Cruiserweight division. I'd love to see him maybe take a stab at the Cruiserweight Championship. He is very good, and he's a great talker. So I'd like to see more of him. We've seen him develop over the last couple of years, and he's gotten better. One of the best things from my perspective to watch is see someone progress and mature and grow, So Mansoor is definitely in that camp. I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see what he could do against a Leo Rush. I'd like to see what he could do against an Angel Garza or a Jordan Devlin, or Isaiah Swerve Scott. I'd like to see that. So it's a shame that we haven't seen him on NXT live events. He's very good. WWE holds the Super Showdown events. It is Thursday, February 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at the Mohammed Abdu Arena. I don't know if I mispronounced that or not, but it is what it is. Saudi Arabia. And it'll air live on the WWE Network. This is the updated card as of right now. Brock Lesnar, the WWE champion, defending his title against the man who said he has earned a title shot at Brock Lesnar. Ricochet. Sure you have, bro. Sure you have. Bray Wyatt defending the Universal Championship against Bill Goldberg. SmackDown Tag Team titles, The New Day versus John Morrison and The Miz. Roman Reigns versus Baron... Oh, my God. I just got through saying Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin don't really need to be there. This match doesn't even need to be happening is what I meant. I genuinely, I swear on everything, man, I genuinely did not even realize this match was on the show. That's how unimportant this match is. This doesn't need to be happening. You can keep these guys in the States for SmackDown. I don't care about Reigns. I certainly don't give a shit about Corbin. But man, keep them in the States. This does not need to be happening. The Royal Rumble Falls Count Anywhere match should have been the blow-off. And then they just gave you another match after that where the dog food came into play. Loser eats dog food they did on SmackDown. Good one, Bruce. That's a good one. And then they dumped dog food all over Baron Corbin. That wasn't a blow-off. Certainly should have been a blow-off. It's a blow-off in my eyes. Fucking ridiculous. Maybe I should go ask Bruce's wife for a blow-off. Steel cage match, Reigns and Corbin. The Two-Wake Mountain Trophy Gauntlet match. Just another way to get this fucking show to mean something, and at the end of the day, it means nothing. A meaningless trophy. The Two-Wake Mountain Trophy Gauntlet match is a WWE way to say, hi, we're trying to make this important, but it really doesn't mean anything. Andrade, who will be back from his suspension, Bobby Lashley, Eric Rowan, AJ Styles, R-Truth, and Rusev. Listen, I know I'm no wrestling historian here. I'm no, Dave Meltzer or anything. But AJ Styles is probably going to win this Two-Wake Trophy Gauntlet match because obviously he's going to take that and use it as fuel to challenge The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Or The Undertaker's going to come out and challenge AJ Styles to WrestleMania based off what he says because he's already stated on WWE TV that he's the greatest superstar of any generation. You could see where that's going just based on that statement alone. And then he's going to win this, and he's going to brag about that statement even more so, and then cue The Undertaker, cue the darkness and the lightning and the thunder and all this shit, and boom. People are going to be like, oh my God, The Undertaker's back on TV. Yeah, great. Like, I haven't seen it fucking 1,000 fucking times already. So that's going to happen there. And then Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy will be defending the Monday Night Raw Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits. Remember when they were cool? I don't. And I'm sure you don't either. The Street Profits. Let me scratch my head over this one, man. Let me ponder this. What have the Street Profits done for a tag team title match? Weren't they in a tag team title match the last time we seen them on TV? Against, who was it? The OC and the Viking Raiders? Didn't they lose? Have they even been in a match since then? Have they even accumulated a win? They beat Mojo Rawley and Riddick Moss. Oh, man. Man, what a victory. That certainly earned them a tag team title shot. Jesus Christ, man. The illogical garbage that is spewed from these shows week after week, and nobody sees it. Nobody sees it. Nobody questions it. The Street Profits, have they done anything? Have they showcased you anything that will tell you that they've earned the tag team title shot? I don't think so. And I love the Street Profits. I really, deep down, I do. In NXT, they were awesome. On Monday Night Raw, they are just miscast. They are not cool. They're not fun to watch. They're not using them to their full potential. there'll be another 2 guys that ask to go back down to NXT or get moved down to NXT because of poor booking. I'm awaiting that day. Because then at that point, that will be the day where they will be resuscitated. Because right now they're dying 1,000 deaths on Monday Night Raw. Another aging UFC fighter is training at the WWE Performance Center. Oh, joy. Who could it be this time? We already got fucking Cain Velasquez just taking a paycheck by WWE to do absolutely nothing, right? Now we got Tito Ortiz training at the Performance Center. And Meltzer had this to say on the following. Uh-oh. Meltzer said something. Let's label him a cancer because he's giving his opinion. Tito Ortiz is training to be a pro wrestler at the WWE Performance Center as we speak. Maybe not at this moment, but he was there all week. I heard great things about his work ethic, which doesn't surprise me. His enthusiasm, which doesn't surprise me in the least. The negative I see is Tito Ortiz is 45 years old. And he has a really bad neck and a really bad back and things like that. But yeah, he wants to be a pro wrestler. If he was 35 years old, that'll be one thing. But starting at the DDP age, DDP always talks about when he was 35, which is kind of true. I mean, he trained earlier, though, but he never really got a break. And Bad News Allen was maybe 36 when he started, maybe 35, and he ended up having a very good, long career, too. But 45 to start? I mean, has anyone started at 45? But more power to him if he can make it. I just worry about the injuries. He's had so many injuries, and again, it's not easy on your body at all. And starting at that age and learning the thing, listen, he's a charismatic guy, but his talking is not the best. So I don't know. So that was Meltzer's opinion. PW Insider and Mike Johnson reported on Ortiz at the Performance Center to see if he could see himself working for the WWE later down the line. This is what Mike Johnson says, and I quote, Ortiz's visit was something of an introductory meeting spread out over several days. So Ortiz, a lifelong pro wrestling fan, because they're all lifelong pro wrestling fans, right? And he's a lifelong pro wrestling fan, and WWE could feel each other out. Him and Ortiz, or WWE rather, and Ortiz could feel each other out and see if the two sides might be able to work together down the line. Tito Ortiz has done some work with a major professional wrestling company previously. Major? TNA Major? Sorry, bro. That's false information. He was a part of the Aces and Eights storyline in TNA, now Impact Wrestling. The MMA fighter is 45 years old, so he doesn't have too long left to transition into pro wrestling if he wants a full-time run. Why? Please, why? I'd love to know why. This is a thing. 45 years old. He will offer nothing in the form of must-see for WWE television. He's 45 years old. Just look at Cain Velasquez, who came in with 2 bad fucking knees, who signed a contract just to take the fucking easy payday because he knows he has absolutely nothing else going on for himself. Do you look at Cain Velasquez in the WWE and see a prime-time, big-time matchup awaiting him? WWE wasted it already. 90 seconds. Done. The only match that we had any interest in when he was making the rounds in Mexico, when he was getting his feet wet in pro wrestling, and he was wearing his silly lucha mask, the only thing that we were interested in when we found out that WWE was talking to him was a match with Brock Lesnar. WWE wasted that. They wasted it in 90 seconds in Saudi Arabia. Do you want to see it again? Fuck no. Do you want to see Cain Velasquez in the ring with anybody at all in the WWE? The answer is no. The answer is no. And if you do, you're a fucking idiot. He offers nothing to the WWE. Nothing. Nothing in the form of dream matches. Nothing in the form of a fucking ratings pop. Nothing in the form of a must-see. He's a decrepit, useless ex-UFC fighter. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I am sick and tired of hearing stories like this, because every time a former, decrepit, broken down UFC fighter wants to make his transition into pro wrestling, you know what that does? That moves everybody else who wants a fucking spot, which right now are very hard to come by. They want a spot, and whoever wants a spot is moved down for a 45-year-old Tito Ortiz. What a terrible fucking business move. How, if you are a business mind in the WWE, are you looking at this and asking yourself, I could see George Barrios and Michelle Wilson questioning this. Vince, why do we have Cain Velasquez signed to a multi-million-dollar deal? Are we getting any return on this investment here? That's the first thing I'd be asking. How are you going to make your return on a Cain Velasquez or Tito Ortiz? Did WWE get a return in the ratings? No. Thumbs down. Did WWE get a return in the storyline that they booked against Brock Lesnar? Thumbs down. Awful. A fucking embarrassment. It was an absolute fucking pathetic excuse of a match. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I really could not believe what I was watching. This is WWE in 2019, 2020. They want to go and get ex-UFC fighters. Listen, 45 years old, I don't want to sit here and shit all over his fucking mentality. If he wants to do it, if he wants to train to be a pro wrestler, fine. But that doesn't mean training is going to lead you to being on TV and being in a pay-per-view or being on Wrestlemania, getting you title shots. If you want to train because you want to push yourself as a human being, by all means, do it. Don't expect to be on TV. Don't. What a waste of a fucking... What a waste of a story this is, really. If you want to come on in, if you love pro wrestling so much, I would not mind them being analysts. You want to come on in, you want to have some fucking, sit down with the commentary team. You want to do some WWE backstage stuff and give your opinion on the product, being that you're a big pro wrestling fan, right? They're all big pro wrestling fans. I don't mind that. But being in the ring, Cain Velasquez and Tito Ortiz, get the fuck over yourself. Move the fuck on. Stop alienating not only your fucking roster, but stop alienating your fan base. Our fan base doesn't want to see this shit. Our fan base wants to see the Bianca Belairs and the Aleister Blacks and the Andrades and the fucking Keith Lees and the Dominic Dijakovics and the Adam Coles and the Matt Riddles be brought up. They want to see all those people get the attention that these fucking guys automatically get when they come in. Give me a break. Keith Lee needed 2 fucking years to get the attention that a Cain Velasquez got. He walks right in, gets a WWE title shot for basically doing nothing just because he's Cain Velasquez. I fucking loathe that mentality. Stop. Start spreading your wealth in the right areas. Do not even entertain the idea of a Tito Ortiz. Fuck that. WWE Superstar, or former WWE Superstar, accuses the company of stealing his creative ideas. Listen to this fucking story. Ever since Bray Wyatt debuted his new character after WrestleMania 35, many fans have grown to appreciate just how creative Bray Wyatt could actually be. In his role as The Fiend, Wyatt has entertained fans and carried even Monday Night Raw on his back. He carried Monday Night Raw on his back, says this report. Where? Did he lead Monday Night Raw to ratings? 2019 seen the lowest ratings in the history of Monday Night Raw 9 different times. So if Bray Wyatt is carrying the show on his back, he ain't doing a fucking job, man. He's collapsing under the pressure. And now he's on SmackDown, and he ain't doing a goddamn thing for SmackDown either. One of The Fiend's most noteworthy matches to date was against Seth Rollins in the Hell in a Cell. Not because it was a great match, because WWE botched the fucking finish. They wanted to fuck you over. And that's exactly what they did, and that led that match to having one of the worst outcomes for a match in WWE history. Might as well end up being the worst outcome in Hell in a Cell history. No Hell in a Cell match will ever have a ending that terrible. Despite it being the wrong decision, clearly, WWE had Seth Rollins retain his title against Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. Since then, Rollins has turned heel and completely transformed this character into the Monday Night Messiah, the Monday Night Clown, the Monday Night Loser, with AOP and Buddy Murphy behind him. Seth currently has one of the, I want to say the biggest heel gimmicks in WWE right now. Is it the most successful heel gimmicks in WWE right now? Probably not. Is it the most entertaining heel gimmick in WWE? Probably not. Seth Rollins, according to the database, according to the analytics coming out of Monday Night Raw, his segment and his sermon lost 200,000 viewers on Monday. So I don't know who the fuck he's preaching in front of, but they clearly don't give a shit. They clearly don't give a shit. What about that, Messiah? Yeah, some Messiah you are, bro. Fucking loser. Go and make me a fucking chai latte, extra foam, clown. And I don't even drink chai. Anyway. Now we got Reverend Jeremiah Constantine. Reverend Jeremiah Constantine. He claims that in an interview with High Spot Podcast that he suggested gimmicks to his former WWE employers that were very similar to those of Seth Rollins and The Fiend. This is what he said. Seems to me it's another issue of clout chasing by Mr. Jeremiah Constantine. I feel they're using certain elements of my material, and yeah, I'm not too happy about it. You know, because here's the thing, I sent the WWE a video of me doing the Jeremiah Constantine thing, the whole religious aspect with the studio audience, mind you. All these things that I use right now, and I got a response from somebody saying that, okay, I'm going to send this to a lead writer. So I know they've been seeing the material, and they know what I'm doing, and you know, and certain aspects of that have come out on TV, and I've never gotten a response from them. So it just upsets me over the fact that you can't even acknowledge me, and that you're taking from my stuff, especially with the Seth Rollins stuff, the Monday Night Messiah. I'm pretty sure they got that from my promos. Then they had Bray Wyatt doing the newscast thing, which right now I'm doing. It's just like, whatever. End quote. Oh man. Poor Jeremiah Constantine, bro. Really? Did I make a big stink when WWE used my fucking revival idea by aligning them with Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown? How many fucking ideas has WWE taken from this very podcast alone? This is what they do. This is what they do. They take. They got a certain portion of their fucking team. They got employees, a certain portion of their team that scour social media, that scour YouTube and watch podcasts like this one, and that's how they get their ideas. You have to keep in mind that these people are people who don't know a fucking thing about pro wrestling or creative writing for a pro wrestling company. So what are they going to do? They're going to go out there and use cheat sheets. Cheat sheets. IGN, the biggest video game publication on YouTube, hired somebody last year, or he was employed by IGN. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a game that came out for, I think it was the Nintendo Switch. It might have been on all platforms. It was called Dead Cells. And this guy plagiarized an entire written video review of Dead Cells because he looked up another smaller content creator who also reviews video games, who also reviewed the same game, and word for word copied the same script onto his review and published it via IGN's YouTube page. I forgot the guy's name. His name is not even important. But he did this, and this is what they do. It happens everywhere. Would I be surprised if WWE took from someone or something in regards to Bray Wyatt, or took from someone or something in regards to Seth Rollins? Of course I would not be surprised. But I'm not looking at Jeremiah fucking Constantine. Who the fuck is he, and who the fuck is he preaching his podcast to? Does he even have a fucking audience? I don't think so. I guarantee you, we have a bigger audience here than Jeremiah fucking Constantine. Now, WWE is obviously ripping off CM Punk with the Seth Rollins gimmick. The whole cult leader, Seth Rollins, whole cult leader, CM Punk, it's a very similar situation there. So I don't think they're taking from Jeremiah Constantine. And to say that, oh, they took my idea with the Bray Wyatt sit-down news, format thingy on the Firefly Funhouse, him doing the news report. Yes, they looked to Jeremiah Constantine for a basic fucking news setup with him in front of a desk reading breaking news. I could look on YouTube and look at fucking Keemstar doing the same goddamn fucking thing for Drama Alert. I could turn on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN. Doesn't fucking matter. It's a generic idea. Nobody is stealing your ideas. You were given a platform, and then you voiced your opinions, and you voiced your frustrations, and you wanted to gain some fucking clout, and you wanted to gain some notoriety, which previously you had none following your WWE departure. This High Spots podcast gave you a platform, and this is what you do with it. Oh, cry me a fucking river. WWE took my ideas, knowing that it was going to be picked up by a fucking dirt sheet or a publication, so your name gets out there. Am I in the ballpark? I don't need to do shit like that. People who are confident in their knowledge of pro wrestling don't need to do that. Give me a fucking break. Stop with the clout. If you're good, people will notice. Example A. Fuck out of here, stealing ideas. If I had a fucking dime for every fucking WWE idea that I seen on TV that I mentioned on this fucking podcast, I'd be living with the fucking Miz in Los Angeles. Fuck out of here. WWE is talking about bringing a major pay-per-view back to the United Kingdom. This is good. I like this idea. I give this a thumbs up of approval. I'd like to visit the UK. And if WWE is having a show over in the United Kingdom in London, man, that meet and greet, where my UK boys at? Where my UK folk at? What about a meet and greet in the good old United Kingdom? I think that would fucking be unbelievable, man. Guinness, I'd have so much Guinness flowing around me that I think I'd walk out of there fucking 1,000 pounds heavier. Unreal. WWE's in talks of bringing a pay-per-view back to the United Kingdom. WWE and BT Sport announced their new partnership in late 2019. Now it seems WWE may be trying to bring their first major event in decades to the United Kingdom. The last show that WWE had in the United Kingdom for a major pay-per-view was SummerSlam 1992. That SummerSlam event took place in Wembley Stadium, drawing approximately 80,000 fans to see the British Bulldog versus Bret the Hitman Hart in the main event. And get this might be foreign language to you guys. This might be a little bizarre for you guys to be hearing. Bret the Hitman Hart defended the Intercontinental Championship in the main event. Yes, the last match on the show against Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. I know, you're probably fucking floored right now. Oh my God. What happened to the Intercontinental Championship, man? I'd love to see not only the WWE go back to the United Kingdom, but I'd love to see the Intercontinental Championship brought back to the level that it was in 1992. I'd love to see that. WWE's return to the United Kingdom on a large scale has been talked about for years. It's been fucking cried about every single year. Bring WrestleMania to the United Kingdom. Excuses have been made about the time zone differences and this and that. Seems like WWE doesn't care about airing a takeover in the United Kingdom, right? Which means we'll watch it here at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, or 1 p.m. in the afternoon, 12 noon. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The fan base over there is wanting it. They're rabid. They're thirsty for it. If you don't think they're going to show up and sell it out and bring their fucking best no matter what it is, they will. They just want a major show. They want to feel a part of this booming WWE, oh, we got to be bigger and better than ever time that Vince McMahon is just so hell-bent on. WrestleMania is getting bigger and better every year, right? Well, bigger every year, not better every year. It's getting worse every year, but you know what I mean, in front of larger audiences. Wembley Stadium for a SummerSlam show, that would be absolutely monumental. I can't wait for that to happen. It's got to happen. It's going to happen. I just don't know when, but it's got to happen. I'm all for it, and I know you guys are as well. And, I mean, I don't have a passport yet, but that would make me... I've already put in for a passport because I definitely want to go to Dublin. That's one of my biggest things. I want to go to Dublin. So I put in for a passport, and I want to go out there. And if it's wrestling related, and I get to experience the nightlife out there and the food scene and the beer scene, I'm all for it, man. And then meet you guys and have a fucking epic meet and greet in the UK, I'm all for it, man. That's what I want to do. So hopefully it happens, and it'll be one of the reasons why I go out there. The number one reason is the Guinness Brewery. Ain't passing that up, man. And you know what? I would be taking classes there. I want to know how to pour a Guinness. And I know from my expertise on drinking Guinness and being so analytical about how my Guinness is poured everywhere I order a Guinness, I know how to pour a Guinness, too. I know how to pour a fucking Guinness, bro. Already. I guarantee you I'd pass that class with flying colors. So we'll see what happens there, man. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But the BT Sport and WWE partnership is the closest that we could possibly be for the WWE to bring a major pay-per-view back to the UK. One of the biggest things in all of WWE to me as far as a presentation for a superstar is their theme music. If you don't have a good theme music, if you don't have a good theme song, you're not going to really get over as big as you want to be, or you're not going to get over as big as you expect to be. It all hinges on the theme music. It really does. Now, WWE has had CFOs. They've had CFOs, and they were able to make some of the best theme songs in the history of WWE. Bobby Roode's theme song, Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song. You know when you heard Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song for the first time and you realized who came up with that theme song and who wrote that theme song. Fucking epic. Absolutely epic. I don't know who else they're in charge of. I don't know who else's theme song they came up with. Maybe Sami Zayn's. Who else did they possibly come up with? There's so many that they came up with. Can't really think off the top of my head, but those are the first two that immediately jumped to mind. Bobby Roode, that shit was over as the theme song was more over than Bobby Roode was when he was in NXT. And then Shinsuke Nakamura, people singing it and humming it in the crowd. It was just so great, man. It was so awesome. So CFO was able to bring those certain aspects of the characters to life. You know, they made the superstars bigger than they were with their theme music. Now their partnership is over, leaving the company to figure out what's next as far as who's going to be conducting their theme music. Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp reports that CFOs had an issue with their publisher. The band was out a significant cut of money when it comes to their publisher deal. WWE tried to buy out CFOs out of their contracts, but their publisher rejected the idea. I don't know who their publisher is, but WWE tried, and I give them credit for doing that because I thought CFOs was very talented. I really do. There was some hope that WWE could bring them in as a house band, but that's not happening at all. The plan that Fightful is reporting was that WWE hoped to bring them in for a house band, but the talks got to a standstill and eventually ran out. It's thought that CFOs have a non-compete with their publisher, which is why they haven't returned. I don't know when their contract is up with this said publisher, but that will be an interesting thing to keep an eye out on. The idea was for WWE, the idea for WWE was said to be a big one because WWE was willing to outsource their work rather than keep it all in-house like they did with Jim Johnston for the longest time. At this point, CFO's exit has caused WWE to halt their lucrative WWE Music Group YouTube channel. They haven't uploaded any content in 6 months at this rate. It is reported that Doug J. Davis is now working with WWE's music division. I don't know who he is. WWE started using library tracks and an in-house editor for the newer theme songs. They also needed to start the hiring process in that division because other employees have left as well. They need to get on that, man. If there's anything at the top of the list as far as priorities go, that should be it. That should be at the top of the list, no question. Now, I'm going to use two different examples here. They're either hit or miss with WWE and this new division that they got in these library tracks and this in-house editor. Just look at the Kabuki Warriors and their theme music. At first, I didn't like it. And then I grew to love it because it just fits them and it sounds great. So I don't know who came up with that, but they did a very good job on the Kabuki Warriors theme. Then you hear someone like Bayley and Bayley's theme. That shit is fucking awful. That sounds as generic could be. That's like you're going into the creative suite in WWE 2K and you're picking out the best fucking theme music, and that's the one that you come up with. It sounds awful. It doesn't even fit Bayley's character. It doesn't fit Bayley's image of a heel. I don't know who the fuck that fits. Generic wrestler B is who that fits. It's awful. Then you look at someone like Dakota Kai in NXT. I don't know whose theme music that is, but that shit sounds awful as well. That doesn't fit Dakota Kai. Look at what's her name? Lacey Lane, or what's her name now? Caden Carter. That theme music doesn't fit Caden Carter. It sounds like something that you'd fucking rip off the internet. Lazy. It's absolutely lazy. Theme music is such a vital part of growing a character. It's who they are. Why aren't you making a bigger deal out of this? Go and hire somebody that's going to do just as good of a job as CFO. I don't get it. These people, honestly, whoever's in charge of this, whoever they go out and get, depending on their talent, of course, they should be some of the highest paid people in the company in a office environment, in a non-wrestler environment, whatever non-wrestler WWE employees make, they should be some of the highest paid people in this company. Everything hinders on them. Half of the character's fucking act hinders on them. I don't get why WWE hasn't made a bigger deal out of this. I don't know. That sucks though, man. Hopefully they could get that situated and we could get some really cool theme music, memorable theme music that we could be fucking thinking about. Everybody still thinks of The Rock and the old school Undertaker theme. And I wish WWE could use legit theme songs to pay for the fucking rights, you know? Edge has got Alter Bridge. Sasha Banks is lucky. She's got fucking Snoop Dogg doing her shit, you know? I wish WWE could just go and pay for the rights to use a Metallica song or a Megadeth song, you know? What is Killer Kross going to have when he comes in? Needs to fit the character, right? Needs to fit the character. I could see him using some really fucking crunchy metal theme. I don't know, man. It's very important, and I hope WWE gets that situated sooner rather than later. Former WWE diva Eve Torres accuses the president of forcefully grabbing her. Now, if you go to Eve Torres' Instagram, I don't want anything to do with the president. I don't even want to mention his name because I'll probably get fucking demonetized. But if you go and look at Eve Torres' Instagram, you'll see the picture in question here. Okay? And if you look, the president on his left side, Eve Torres is there, close to the president. He's got his arm around Eve Torres, okay? Then you look at the president's right side, and the Miz's wife is there. Maurice is there. A young-looking Maurice is there. And he's got his arm around Maurice. He's got his arm around these two beautiful women, right? So this week, on President's Day, mind you, President's Day, former WWE Superstar Eve Torres used President's Day and her platform, because I guess nothing else was going on in the Gracie household. She used this day and her platform to share a personal encounter with the United States President. You know who he is. I won't mention him by name. It's very difficult for me not to mention his name because he is the President of the United States, but you know who he is. Torres released an Instagram post saying that she looks forward to having a president who doesn't grope or objectify women. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. Another clout-chasing clown here on social media. So the picture in question, like I said, go to her Instagram page. You'll see it. Happy President's Day, she says. I look forward to having a president who doesn't grope or objectify women. I have taken pictures with thousands of men at military bases, at WWE events and signings, and very few have grabbed me and pulled me in a forceful manner as he did without knowing me. Of course, at the time, I believed it was my job to be eye candy in a photo for this supposed billionaire and play along. It is actually hard for me to see that photo because it reminds me of my beliefs about my worth at the time. Swipe to see what I mean. Swipe again for a brush up on creepy hug defenses, including the inappropriate photo squeeze. So that's what she said there. P.S. She had her P.S. Of course she did. The pregnancy announcement is old, so no, I'm not pregnant again. Also, this was scary for me to post because it's been on my mind. We haven't forgotten about your pussy grabbing either, Mr. President. End quote. So I'm assuming this was around the time that the president was involved in Wrestlemania, and we had the Battle of the Billionaires, Vince McMahon and the President of the United States, and it was Umaga, or as William Regal says, Umanga, against Bobby Trashley, who has not gotten better since that day. Still trash, forever will be trash. I'm sorry for the Bobby Trashley elitists out there. Cry me a fucking river. I'll go buy you a box of Kleenex on the house. Another one of the fucking group of people that I live rent-free in your heads. JD hates Bobby Lashley. He needs to go watch Impact. Blow me. I don't even want to make this a subject. Not going to rant on this. But of all the years to make this an issue, from then, now you make it an issue? It wasn't an issue all these years, right? Now you want to make it an issue. Coincidentally, on President's Day, coincidentally in an election year where he's up for re-election, right? You got to get your fucking clout out there. You got to get your say out there, right? All these years, it wasn't an issue. Now, in 2020, it's an issue. There's nothing going on at home that is interesting you, Miss Eve Torres, huh? What's going on at home that you're so upset by that you need to come on social media and feel important once again? Give me a fucking break. I am tired of these fucking recognition-chasing, clout-chasing, irrelevant fucks. I really am. Go and find a fucking hobby. Has Maurice come out? Has anybody else come out that was photographed in that photo and said what you said about Mr. President? That he was forcefully grabbing you? Give me a break. I don't see Maurice saying anything. I don't see anybody else in that fucking photo saying anything. Only you. Only you. Cry me a fucking river. We'll all be crying a fucking river if this actually happens. The WWE fans will be crying a fucking river. WWE is in talks of moving their monthly pay-per-views to ESPN Plus. Now, the wrestling pay-per-view landscape changed in 2012 when the WWE Network launched with a $9.99 subscription price, making WWE's biggest shows more affordable for everybody. And it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Now it looks like WWE may be bringing back or going back to having fans pay for each individual pay-per-view if a deal is worked out with ESPN. Dave Meltzer noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there's Meltzer again, the cancer of the community. Can't take anything he says seriously. Dave Meltzer noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there have been talks between ESPN and WWE regarding content on ESPN Plus. Now, obviously, nothing is signed, but if they were able to come to terms, then it would likely mean that some or all of WWE's major shows would move to ESPN Plus in a deal similar to what UFC has, where fans would order their big shows through the ESPN app. Currently, fans who want to purchase a UFC pay-per-view would do so at $64.99 per show. The purchase also includes a month of ESPN Plus, which is $4.99 per month. So we are spending we are spending $70 plus tax a month for WWE pay-per-views and ESPN Plus per month. Folks, I don't know how you think about that, but several years ago, Dana White said that his feeling on the WWE Network was that Vince McMahon is a very smart guy. He did not ever say anything negative in regards to Vince McMahon's business acumen, but he is devaluing his pay-per-view business by putting those shows up on the network for $9.99. Vince thought that the majority of the fans, the lapsed fan, would buy the network, subscribe to the network, and they would have everything that they used to love about the WWE at their fingertips to go and watch any time of the day that they wanted, anytime they want. But this is Vince McMahon thinking what I thought was a great idea. I mean, who the fuck wouldn't purchase the WWE Network for everything that is included on the network for $9.99 a month? It is an absolute steal. It is an absolute steal. And I get where Vince McMahon was going with this. But this is a direct effect of Vince McMahon not caring about the current product. They are not gaining new eyes. They're not gaining new fans. Monday Night Raw is grabbing 2.4 million people every fucking week. SmackDown is getting 2.4, 2.5, at most 2.6 every single week in the ratings on USA and Fox individually. WWE Network subscribers are 1.4 million people. Where are those other million plus people who are watching these shows? You're not doing anything to get them on board with the WWE Network. You constantly put out fucking garbage every single week, and WWE fans who are watching right now, more than likely they are subscribed to the network, but the new fans that you might have caught on, the new fans that you might have grabbed the attention of, they're not signing up. Because what is there to fucking keep an interest in? You're giving me nothing but garbage. The current product is trash. If the current product was, I don't know, NXT value or NXT light, it was similar to what NXT was doing, then, or on that consistent basis is what I mean, then people, I think, would be more apt to sign up for the network. Plus, WWE pay-per-view at $9.99, look at what you do on those pay-per-views. You don't make those pay-per-views feel any special. You don't make the individual pay-per-views feel special. You go in all in on the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Barely. And those other pay-per-views during the year, they have no build. You leave 2 weeks, 1 week left of build. You announce random matches that have absolutely no importance or no meaning on those shows. None of those shows feel important at all, like they used to do back in the day. Who gives a shit about an Elimination Chamber? Nobody. Look at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Not one iota of a build for the Elimination Chamber because we have a Super Showdown show in Saudi Arabia. Those shows don't feel important. And people aren't going to be watching the shows. A large majority of the people are not going to be watching those shows because of where the show is emanating from, just to take a stand. Those people could love the show, but they won't watch it because of where you're originating the show from. The individual B pay-per-views, the C and D level pay-per-views, they don't have an individuality to them. There's nothing about them. The Elimination Chamber is boring. It is fucking predictable. Shayna Baszler and Roman Reigns were the ones who were going to win the Royal Rumble, so you opted to go in a different direction at the Royal Rumble, and now they're slated to win the Elimination Chamber. Why is there even any interest, is what I want to know, in the Elimination Chamber, when the outcomes are fucking predictable? You got WrestleMania. You got Extreme Rules. What's so great about Extreme Rules? Have you done anything to make Extreme Rules stand out in previous years? Nothing. What is extreme about Extreme Rules? The most extreme on Extreme Rules is a fucking kendo stick shot. That is not what I call extreme. Money in the Bank? Money in the Bank should never be its own pay-per-view. Money in the Bank should actually be on WrestleMania and give all of those people a important role in WrestleMania instead of devaluing just getting everybody on the fucking card in a meaningless battle royal that will go nowhere and do nothing for the winner's career. We need individuality on these shows. Clash of Champions, has that ever been built up as something epic and monumental every year? No. Hell in a Cell? No. What's in December? TLC? No. No. It's just a shitty gimmick that has its own pay-per-view that doesn't need its own pay-per-view. You need to make these shows special to give people a desire to want and go out and see it. We need a King of the Ring. We need a Great American Bash. We need a Halloween Havoc. We need we need a Starrcade at the end of the year. And I honestly think with the 12 to 15 fucking shows in the year as well, WWE has devalued their own pay-per-views, not by the price of the network and giving these shows away for free, pretty much, right? Giving these shows away for $9.99. They've devalued the pay-per-view well before that. They've devalued the pay-per-view just based on the amount of pay-per-views they have in the calendar year. If WWE went to a 7 to 8 pay-per-view model, or 6 to 8, I should say, 6 to 8 pay-per-view model, realistically, they should have only 6 pay-per-views in the year. If they went to a lesser number model for pay-per-views, that would automatically make the shows that much more must-see. Honestly. If you kept it to the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, if you kept it to SummerSlam, Survivor Series, maybe a Halloween Havoc, maybe a King of the Ring in the middle, you know? Maybe add a Starrcade or Elimination Chamber. 6 to 8 pay-per-views at max is all you need. You don't need these other shows. You could do network specials. They don't need to be pay-per-views. They could happen in the middle. They could happen on Raw. They could happen on SmackDown. Build your TV shows with certain gimmicks like that. Build your shows once a year with a TLC stipulation. Build your shows every year with a Extreme Rules stipulation. Have special events like a Saturday Night Main Event thrown in between these big shows to kind of get these storylines across and continue the storylines on TV that we see. They've went about this in all the wrong way. They devalued their pay-per-views well before WWE even came up with the network. There's just too many of them. And the TV product mixed with that devaluing of the pay-per-views because there's too many. The TV product right now, as it sits, is fucking abysmal. Nobody's going to want to invest money in a shitty product. Now you're asking me to invest money in a pay-per-view for $64.99 once a month. On top of that, subscribe to ESPN Plus for $5 a month. I don't watch anything on ESPN. $70 a month is what you're asking. This is going to be a colossal failure. UFC pay-per-views are not worth $70 a month. Not when you got Conor McGregor going in the first round and beating fucking Cowboy Maroney in 40 seconds. Give me a fucking break. I would feel absolutely fucking heartbroken that I wasted $70 on WWE to get a finish like we got at Hell in a Cell. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you spending $70 fucking dollars on a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and that's the ending that you get? You'd cancel your ESPN Plus subscription within a fucking eye blink. 8 hours of WrestleMania, is it worth $70 to me? No. Because it hasn't lived up to what WrestleMania should be. Maybe the 8-hour length to you is worth $70. To each his own. To me, it's not. SummerSlam has been garbage every single year. I wouldn't spend $70 on fucking SummerSlam. I wouldn't spend $70 on anything that WWE does. These shows, and this is a fucking tall task, which they will never do. They will never accumulate this tall task. These shows, every single show, needs to be a takeover-worthy elite effort. I don't think that's even fucking possible with these group of people. I don't think this is possible with the fucking current crop of people that they got running these shows. Honestly, and even at that point, is it worth $70? Would you pay $70 for a 2-hour, 2.5-hour, 3-hour takeover show that we've seen in Portland? I wouldn't pay $70 for it. It's not worth $70. The price of $70 does not equate to the 3 hours that we get. $40, $39.99? Maybe. And that's a stretch. Also, you took NXT off the WWE Network to put it on USA Network to compete and counter AEW. So the network subscriptions, WWE has made ass-backwards decisions, and then they're wondering and scratching their heads, well, what happened to the WWE Network subscription number? What happened? Look at the current product. Look at you trying to counter AEW. Look at you devaluing your fucking pay-per-views. You take everything, including the fans, your own product, your own shows, for granted. You have so many fucking resources at your disposal, and you choose to utilize nothing. Nothing. I held a poll. I held a poll on social media, on Twitter. We're going to look at it right now. Read a report I tweeted earlier this morning. Read a report that WWE is in talks with ESPN Plus to stream their pay-per-views. ESPN Plus is $4.99 a month, and we would be expected to shell out roughly $60 or so a month for WWE pay-per-view. Well then, those shows better be the best shows ever. Are you guys going to pay monthly? 2,000 votes so far. That's a pretty decent number. I only put the poll up for 6 hours or so because I wanted to talk about it on the podcast. 92.4% said fuck no, and 7.6% said yes. So there you go. WWE, didn't this upset UFC? Any UFC fans out there, any UFC fans out there in the comment section, what was the backlash to UFC moving to ESPN and charging $64.99 for their pay-per-views? What was the backlash? There had to be some backlash. Their pay-per-view numbers, I guarantee you, are nowhere near where they used to be. Because the product has ultimately taken a dive in recent years. Am I right? Just like WWE, it's taken a fucking dive. And WWE has yet to recover, and they will never recover under the current regime. Never. And it's funny that WWE is... What would Fox think about this is another thing. What would Fox and Fox Sports think about WWE negotiating with UFC when UFC was on Fox and ESPN was there to swoop up UFC and the UFC content? WWE obviously was brought over to Fox because Fox needed to, fill that time slot and fill that void with UFC being gone now because they were picked up by ESPN. What would Fox think about WWE working with ESPN when ESPN took UFC away from Fox? Is Fox going to be okay with that? I don't know. I don't really know. Now, this is just a rumor. It might not be ESPN Plus at the end of the day. It might be the Peacock Network for NBC Universal. It might be another streaming service. It might be Amazon. Jeff Bezos was in the news, and the reports was that he might be interested in buying WWE streaming rights. It might be Hulu. It might be Netflix. It might be Danger Zone. It might be one of these streaming services. We don't know. Disney Plus. We don't know. But ESPN Plus was in the news today. So no matter if it's ESPN Plus or anybody else, everything I said in regards to this report remains the same. That's my feeling on that. So I don't know if you guys are going to pay $70 a fucking month for WWE pay-per-views. I am telling you right now, I shall not. I will find another means, whatever that is, to find a way to watch WWE pay-per-view. And I won't be giving them $70 a fucking month. And then what are you going to do to offset the removal of those shows on the WWE Network? Are you just going to abandon the WWE Network? Are you going to put something on there to kind of level off the removal of WWE pay-per-views? I don't know what's going on here. It's as if they are giving up on the WWE Network because of their own failures, and they're just willing to sell the rights to their shows and their brand for a quick cash grab because of their fucking failures. Now you know why Michelle Wilson and George Barrios were fired from WWE corporate. Vince McMahon's fucking failures. If Vince McMahon nails this one, he might be the most brilliant man in all of WWE, and I'll give him his props. But he ain't doing this for the fans. He's gonna fuck over the fans. He's fucking over the fans, and the only person he's thinking about is himself. Nobody's gonna pay $70 for a WWE pay-per-view. Nobody. Quickly, guys, before we get into the WrestleMania news, 2 quick notes. JBL is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and has not been officially announced yet on WWE TV. JBL and Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. According to Wrestling Inc., former WWE champion JBL will be a part of the 2020 Hall of Fame class. During his WWE title reign, JBL held the title for 280 days. He has also had runs with the Intercontinental and WWF Tag Team Championships. JBL retired from in-ring competition after WrestleMania 25, working as a commentator, which he was fucking god-awful in, for the company a little bit after that. In September 2017, JBL announced that he would be stepping away from his work with WWE to focus on more of his humanitarian work in Bermuda. JBL's last appearance came at the 2018 Tribute to the Troop show, where he worked as a commentator, and as of this writing, WWE has only confirmed Batista and the NWO, Hogan, Hall, and Nash, along with Sean Waltman, to be in the WWE 2020 Hall of Fame class. Now, the British Bulldog was also announced, but he has not been confirmed on WWE TV. Meltzer's reporting that Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, is set to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in April. The other one is Davey Boy Smith, he says. So Davey Boy Smith will be going into the Hall of Fame. The family has pushed for that one for years and years and years and years. And so this is the year he's going in. Finally, Davey Boy Smith was a beloved wrestler who made his name a part of the British Bulldogs team with, obviously, the Dynamite Kid. The pair won the tag team titles at WrestleMania 2. However, perhaps Smith's greatest accomplishment was at the 1992 SummerSlam, where he challenged Bret the Hitman Hart for the Intercontinental Championship and defeated him in front of 80,000 people in his hometown at Wembley Stadium in London, England. It has also been reported that British Bulldog, along with British Bulldog and JBL, Jushin Thunder Liger, the Bella Twins, will join Batista and the NWO in the Hall of Fame. That is a very impressive class. The British Bulldog is a fucking no doubt about her. I mean, give me a fucking break. He's a no doubt about it Hall of Famer. It's amazing that it's taken this fucking long for him to get into the Hall of Fame. Just his WWE title accolades. Look at this. Intercontinental Champion 1 time. European Champion 2 times. Hardcore Champion 2 times. WWF Tag Team Champions 2 times. 1 with Dynamite Kid and 1 with Owen Hart. The Battle Royal at Royal Albert Hall in 1991, which is always talked about in WWE history. WWF European Championship Tournament in 1997. And a WWF World Tag Team Championship Tournament in 1997 with Owen Hart. And he won for Match of the Year in 1992, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog at SummerSlam 92. I always thought that match was overrated. I don't know what it was about the match. It was a good match, don't get me wrong. But to label it as one of the greatest matches of all time, I don't think I'd put it in that category. There was just something about that match that I did not gravitate towards as many people did. Some people say the same thing about the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart Iron Man match at WrestleMania. I never found that match to be overly exciting either. But it was a good match. I lumped that match in the same category with the Bret Hart British Bulldog match. They were 2 good matches, but they're 2 matches in my honest opinion that I think people just overhype and just make it out to be a bigger deal than it really was. I don't look at matches like that as being the greatest of all time. When I think greatest matches of all time, honestly, in my opinion, neither of those matches pop up. None of those matches pop up. I don't know what it was, but the British Bulldog Bret Hart match at SummerSlam was incredibly overrated by everybody. Honestly. But he was ranked number 15 in the top 500 singles wrestlers for the PWI 500 in 1993. He's a legend. He's an absolute legend. When you look at the British Bulldog, and you look at what he was and the character he was in WWF back in the early 90s, that's a part of my childhood. He was a character. He was a great character. Fucking someone who was just larger than life. And how he wasn't in the Hall of Fame already, I don't know. But the Bella Twins, we'll talk about this as the weeks go on. The announcement was made already, so it's... I don't even want to talk about it, honestly. The Bella Twins... The fucked up thing is the Bella Twins were announced for the Hall of Fame before Vader was. I don't get it. That is something I don't understand. I really don't get that. So the Hall of Fame class, I see people on the internet already saying that this is the greatest Hall of Fame class ever. You know, to each his own. I don't watch the Hall of Fame. I couldn't give a shit about the Hall of Fame. And it is a very stacked Hall of Fame, but the reason why WWE does it is because it's just another attraction for the WWE WrestleMania weekend. But they're both going in. JBL, hate him, love him, indifferent to him. He's a Hall of Famer. I don't really like him. Never found an interest in him. I loved him when he was in the APA with Ron Simmons. That's about it. Other than that, he's a Hall of Famer. He took his career from that to become a world champion, and he was also one of those guys that was just very respected, you know? Very respected for what he was and who he does, or who he is, rather, and what he does outside of pro wrestling. So, yes, they're giving him a WWE Hall of Fame induction. He's worth a Hall of Fame induction, whether you like him or not. So we'll see what happens there, and hopefully those announcements are made on the road to WrestleMania. They have not been made yet on WWE TV, but hopefully soon. Guys, before we get into the WrestleMania news, quick shout out. Just want to make sure you guys are aware. Another one of my sponsors is sponsoring the show today, and that is Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys get 30 days free of Audible service and one free audiobook of your choice. It's awesome, man. It's a great deal. The best part is if you guys sign up using our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript, not only do you get 30 days free, not only do you get a free audiobook, but if you guys want to sign up and get all that comes with that free trial, you can cancel the free trial anytime in that 30-day grace period and still get to keep your audiobook for free. So you're basically listening to this podcast today and getting something for free as a thank you from my friends over at Audible. I've pushed the Cain book, Mayor Cain, Glenn Jacobs, right? Mayor Cain, My Life in Wrestling and Politics. And we got a new book coming out at the end of March, right at the tail end of WrestleMania season, Jim Ross and his new autobiography, Under the Black Hat. That should be a good one. You guys can get that with my Audible trial link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Sign up today. Thank them for supporting Off the Script, and I want to thank you guys for all that you do and helping our sponsors right here on Off the Script. All right, man, let's get into the WrestleMania portion of the podcast today. A lot of WrestleMania news. And this one comes as no surprise. I pat myself on the back. I have adamantly stated why The Undertaker and AJ Styles was happening at WrestleMania and the reason why it was happening. I gave you every variable in the book. I even booked a better match than AJ Styles and The Undertaker for both guys individually at WrestleMania. One of the reasons why I thought this match was happening was because The Undertaker wanted as close to a Shawn Michaels competitor, like a Shawn Michaels-like clone, for his WrestleMania match. To feel good about himself. To get that epic match that we all anticipate and expect from The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I scoured the dirt sheets, and I found it. I found the reason, and it's the exact reason I told you, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. In a report that emerged this week, it was suggested that The Undertaker has chosen AJ Styles to be his opponent at WrestleMania. AJ's a heel, The Undertaker's a babyface. AJ's on Raw. He's probably going to use this statement. He's the greatest superstar of any generation. He's going to win that two-wake cup in Saudi Arabia. He's going to use that as the cherry on top of the cake here in this feud. The Undertaker's chosen AJ Styles as his opponent. Wrestling News is now reporting that The Undertaker actually specifically asked to work with AJ Styles for one reason, and one reason only. It's not because it's the first time ever, but it's because AJ at WrestleMania, he feels, will work similar to Shawn Michaels. Bro, who's the fucking messiah in this god-awful, godforsaken community? Right here. Love it. They say, and I quote, "I was told that Styles was picked by Taker because he feels that Styles is the modern-day Shawn Michaels." There you go, folks. Now you know why The Undertaker is requested to work with AJ fucking Styles. Right there. Where'd you hear it? Right here on OTS. Now, again, I don't really advocate for this match. I'm not going to complain about it because it's a fantasy match and I'm intrigued by what they could possibly do. Just intrigued by that statement alone. He wanted a Shawn Michaels-esque competitor in AJ Styles, and that's why he wanted AJ for his match at WrestleMania. But the real reason why this match is happening, on top of that, The Undertaker requesting, AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Hey, it's great for AJ Styles. If The Undertaker's requesting you to work at WrestleMania. That's a bigger honor than any championship match on that show. But the real reason why this match is happening is because if WWE does move, and this goes back to the story that we said about ESPN Plus and them selling the rights to their pay-per-views to another streaming service, if WWE is going to take WrestleMania from the WWE Network and put it on ESPN Plus or any streaming service, they're going to attract casual fans. And everybody knows who The Undertaker is. I'm assuming everybody knows who AJ Styles is. And to see this marquee match in the spotlight at WrestleMania, that's a headline grabber for a casual fan. So that's exactly another reason why they're doing this match at WrestleMania. But the real reason is that, and The Undertaker requested to work with Styles because of his Shawn Michaels comparisons. We nailed it, guys. We nailed it. And I found it. And I couldn't wait to unleash that news article to you right here on the podcast. Likely plans for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 36. Now, speaking of Seth Rollins, this is coming from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. Now, while plans seem clear with Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles right now for WrestleMania, the direction heading into WrestleMania for fellow Raw star Seth Rollins is unknown. But Dave Meltzer has suggested in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE is going to have Seth Rollins go up against Kevin Owens at the show of shows. So Rollins looks to be headed for a blow-off with Kevin Owens in either singles or tag team situation. That's what he stated. It was reported this week that Samoa Joe could be out of action for a very long time after suffering a hip injury while filming a WWE commercial. This means that KO will likely be without a tag team partner for WrestleMania. This would certainly imply that the two former Universal Champions are going one-on-one at WrestleMania, which would not make sense, being that, well, I don't know, Seth Rollins is a tag team champion? Listen, bro, you're in this marriage now with Buddy Murphy. You can't book Rollins in a singles match and then leave Buddy Murphy off of the WrestleMania card. The fuck is that gonna do? This is why I've been so adamant about giving a tag team that's not a tag team the tag team titles. Shoulda went to the AOP. Who was right, motherfucker? Will the real JD please stand up? I won't stand up now because I'm in my Bullet Club pajamas and I don't want to fucking show you guys my fucking pajamas on YouTube. But I got it right, motherfucker. I got it right. Now, if you gave the titles to the AOP, then you could have booked the AOP versus the Viking Raiders at WrestleMania, and then Rollins would have been able to challenge Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Where does that leave Buddy Murphy? I don't know. Put him in another match with Aleister Black. A 30-minute Iron Man match. Who the fuck cares? Seriously. But this is what you get for thinking that you got the one-up. This is what you get for putting the titles on a team that's not a team. I don't like that idea. Owens and Rollins is not a good idea because he is the tag team champion. This is what, if Joe wasn't fucking hurt and you didn't send him on assignment to go get a fucking concussion, this is what should have been. Should have been Rollins and Murphy versus Joe and Owens for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. That was the natural progression of this. And boom, everything is over. Storyline is over. Joe and Owens, two singles guys, tag team champions. You could even, at that point, kind of, I guess, work with the idea that Owens is a babyface and Joe is a babyface until Joe turns on Owens, and then we get heel Joe again against Kevin Owens. Tag team champions turning on tag team champions. That would have worked. That would have worked, and then you could put the titles back on a real tag team, whoever that might be. Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, whomever. Undisputed Era. But that was the natural progression of this. And now what I think, and I don't believe I'm going to say this. I don't believe I'm going to say this. People are going to think I'm out of my mind. It should be Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy because they're in a marriage now. You got to book both of them on the show as tag team champions. And I don't see them losing the tag team championships before that. Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy versus Kevin Owens and I can't get it out, folks. I can't get it out. Kevin Owens and his partner of choice, The Big Show. Kevin Owens and The Big Show versus Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy for the Monday Night Raw Tag Team Championships. Yes. I'm sorry. I've let you all down. I'm sorry I've thrown this idea into the universe. I'm just a miserable person. I'm sorry. I don't really hate you all. I don't. I love each and every one of you watching me, even the fucking haters, because you always give me a fucking view and a thumbs down, and it helps out the video, you know? But I'm sorry I threw this idea out into the fucking universe, and now I'm just trying to make sense of it all, folks. But that's the idea. Rollins likely planned for WrestleMania against Owens. Bad. So I actually like the idea of Owens and Big Show versus Rollins and Murphy. And then you could have Owens and Big Show win the Tag Team Championships. And then you can call Undisputed Era up and have them feud with the Ministry of fucking Idiots over on Monday Night Raw. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong against the Monday Night Messiah and his disciples. We could get Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins. We could get the Undisputed Era, O'Reilly and Fish versus AOP. We could get Roddy versus Murphy. Ho, ho, ho! Take my money, man. Take my money. Could be possibly for a United States title at some point. I don't know. See, the thing is with this feud, the thing is with this feud is that this Messiah and his disciples versus Owens and his gang of fucking friends here, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what is the reason why what is the reason of their feud? I still can't figure it out. I don't know. Because Rollins thought that he was right when everybody thought he was wrong. Still, we're basing all of this off of what happened at Hell in a Cell. Or fucking Crown Jewel when he lost the Universal Championship to The Fiend. This is what we're still fighting over. Like, what is the feud being fought over? Supremacy on Monday Night Raw? Who the fuck cares? Now the tag team titles are in play, and that should be the fucking big thing here. WWE could have avoided all of this if they put the titles on AOP, and the Viking Raiders could have battled AOP at WrestleMania. I'm sorry. This is what you get. You make a bad decision, it comes back and bites you in the ass. Triple H, will he be at WrestleMania in a WrestleMania match? The answer is no. Last year, Triple H battled Batista in what was a very long and boring fucking contest. It did nothing for me at all. Meltzer confirmed that Goldberg, Ronda Rousey, and Triple H will not have WrestleMania matches. The Goldberg one is what I'm shocked by. We don't know that for sure yet. We got to see what happens with Super Showdown and what happens with John Cena and his announcement on that SmackDown that Friday following Super Showdown. But this is what he says in The Observer, and I quote, "Another note is that as of the most recent lineup, Triple H is not scheduled to wrestle on the show, nor is Bill Goldberg or Ronda Rousey. Obviously, plans could change if someone gets injured between now and WrestleMania, and then WWE decides to put Triple H on the show as a replacement." Dave Meltzer also noted that the plans may also change if WWE does decide to have Goldberg defeat The Fiend at Super Showdown and then go on to defend the title against Roman Reigns. He says this in regards to that situation: "Everything is obviously subject to change, as Vince McMahon could always decide Goldberg is the better opponent for Roman Reigns as a WrestleMania marquee, but that would also mean ditching plans for months of building Bray Wyatt up for Reigns." Listen, Reigns and Goldberg. Get Goldberg at WrestleMania and have him feud with Roman Reigns. If Goldberg is not a WrestleMania, folks, WrestleMania is so easy to book. It really is. The tag team title match for WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw. I don't like it. I don't want Big Show on TV, but that's the only thing that makes sense. You're not going to leave Buddy Murphy out of WrestleMania. I'm sorry. Aleister Black versus The Undertaker. AJ Styles, I'd book him against Adam Cole. I would do Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. I would have Bray Wyatt defend the Universal title against John fucking Cena. I would have Roman Reigns go one-on-one with Daniel Bryan. Sheamus versus Strowman. What is so difficult here? Why is it so difficult? Then you got Sasha versus Bayley. Then you got Becky versus Shayna. Folks, I booked WrestleMania for you in 30 seconds. 30 fucking seconds. And they're still having a difficult time. Plans change here. Plans change there. Vince might want to do this. Vince might want to do that. Goldberg here. Rousey over there. Elias over here. Baron Corbin's a cancer. I booked WrestleMania for you in 30 fucking seconds. It's not that difficult. And I still haven't even touched the SmackDown Tag Team Championship situation. Why? Why is it so hard? Triple H at WrestleMania? Get over yourself. I don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it. He's old. His value now comes in running NXT, not in the ring. Now, I doubt he's retired. He will have one more match, and that match will be his retirement match. But until then, we do not talk about Triple H being in the ring. WrestleMania is as simple. As we move on, it's becoming more and more simple. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, WWE, according to Meltzer, is getting ready to book Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus at WrestleMania. You know what this match means to me? You know what this match signifies to me is that, oh, I don't have any plans for Sheamus. Oh, I don't have any plans for Daniel Bryan. Oh, let's book a match with two guys that we don't have any plans for. Sheamus better win. Sheamus better win the Intercontinental title from Braun Strowman if that's the match you're going to do. That should be your... If you're booking Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, if this is the news, if this is the rumor, that match needs to be for the Intercontinental title. Simple. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus means absolutely nothing with nothing on the line. Meltzer says this in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Daniel Bryan and Sheamus are both without direction for WrestleMania, implying that the former WWE champions will go one-on-one at the show. Bryan is unclear as far as direction, and it is also clear that they're giving Sheamus a major push on SmackDown. That's all he said. Since returning to TV in the beginning of 2020, after 8 months out injured, Sheamus has picked up emphatic wins against, get this, Apollo Crews. Emphatic wins over Apollo Crews and Chad Gable. Chad Gable. The catering VIPs. Emphatic. What's emphatic? The fact that the fucking green beans were piping hot when they came out of the fucking oven? Was the asparagus fucking beautifully seasoned? Emphatic asparagus served by Titus Catering. Was the baked potato cooked to perfection with bacon bits and sour cream and a little bit of butter, maybe some chives? What about that cheddar cheese? Was it sharp or mild? Emphatic. Emphatic my fucking balls, emphatic. Fuck out of here. This would not be the first time that Bryan and Sheamus have faced off at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania 27, the pair went one-on-one for the U.S. title. The following year, they faced off for the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Do you remember anything from those matches? The answer is no. Would you remember anything from this new match? The answer is no. Just giving you a heads up there. If Sheamus and Bryan is the opportunity, or if Sheamus and Bryan is the match for WrestleMania, they better take this opportunity to take the Intercontinental Championship off of Braun Strowman. I'm telling you right now. I will leave Strowman without a WrestleMania match because who the fuck is Braun Strowman? Fuck out of here. That's an awful fucking idea. Again, I booked WrestleMania in 30 seconds. Who's WrestleMania going to take? JD's or Vince's or Bruce's? Whoever the fuck's coming up with this garbage. Vince McMahon, here's another match. Ripley versus Charlotte. Again, there you go. And I would even change this. I would even change this for the better. Vince McMahon pitched the idea for Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Yes, and I have a threesome planned for later this evening with Deonna Purrazzo and Toni Storm. Yes, I do. Just like Vince McMahon booked this match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Does Vince McMahon even watch NXT, bro? Does Vince McMahon even know how to spell NXT? Rhea Ripley. Does he know who Rhea Ripley is? Give me a break. Why do people give this guy so much credit? You mean to tell me Triple H didn't book this idea? You mean to tell me Triple H wasn't in a WrestleMania creative meeting and didn't throw this one by Vince McMahon? That Vince McMahon came up with this all on his own like a big boy? Give me a break. So this was reported in the week. And who reported this? Who's this? Who reported this? Apparently, this was Triple H who said this. This is what Triple H said after the conference call, the post-show conference call for NXT TakeOver Portland. The Game denied that the idea came from the USA Network during his TakeOver post-show with Kathy Kelly. Actually, he says, and I quote, USA had no involvement in it, really at all. I believe this was, to be honest, it was shocking to me when it was first mentioned to me. And he goes on to say, I believe that this is just really a decision from Vince's part on understanding where other stories are going for the women. Triple H admitted that this decision came from Vince McMahon for Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. As you build towards these things, you have opportunities where you look in a moment of time and you go, does Charlotte go after the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley and Sasha Banks on the side? Does she move into that realm? Does she go after Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch? All these things that you have to sort out and sort of seen beforehand. And you're looking to get fresh and build and new. And I think you see that with Shayna Baszler going after Becky Lynch. And you see that in all different ways on SmackDown where they're going. So this is a way of Charlotte Flair needing to be in that big epic role. Oh, it needs to be a big epic role for Charlotte, right? Sure. I think it really had nothing more to do with that. So he goes on to finally say, and I quote, I think people put too much stock into building up other things. It's easy to put your tinfoil hat on and start to talk about stuff. And I'm sure just even saying that, everybody will be like, oh my God, there's no way they didn't. Whatever. You believe what you want. It really comes down to that. This is good storytelling, and that's what the goal is here. It's just really good storytelling across the board. Folks, I love Triple H. I think he does a phenomenal job with his team on NXT. The fact that he says it's nothing more than storytelling or good storytelling is a crock of shit. This is a direct counter to AEW. Charlotte Flair's coming onto NXT to more than likely challenge Bianca Belair to her open challenge. She's going to accept the open challenge from Bianca Belair. Where do you think that match is going to happen? It's going to happen on NXT. It's not going to happen on Monday Night Raw like it should to get Bianca Belair in the eyes of everybody. In the eyes of more people than the 700,000 on NXT. Oh, no. It's not happening on Monday Night Raw. It's happening on NXT. Why is that? Because Charlotte Flair is a main roster Raw female wrestler. And she's coming over to NXT to boost the ratings for NXT on Wednesday, which will ultimately do nothing. They will ultimately do nothing because Charlotte Flair is not a draw. Charlotte Flair is not a draw. She's not. She's not. No woman on the active roster is a draw. None of them are. Do it on Monday Night Raw. Have Charlotte invite Bianca to Monday Night Raw. It's not that difficult, bro. It's not. Then you got Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler. Did you guys pick up the fact that when Shayna Baszler was on Monday Night Raw cutting that promo where she said she was going to tear the shit out of Becky Lynch, that her nameplate had NXT on it? Did you see that one? Did you catch that one? Now, why would they do that? If Shayna Baszler is on Monday Night Raw biting Becky Lynch in the back of the fucking neck, why would she still be an NXT superstar? Could it be because WWE's keeping Shayna Baszler as an NXT superstar to maybe have Shayna Baszler have a match down in NXT against a top-tier opponent? And then Becky Lynch comes and exacts revenge on Shayna Baszler in Full Sail University on NXT, which is conveniently on the Wednesday night schedule for USA Network. You didn't think that one through now, did you? I let that one calibrate like Charlotte's fucking ion lithium battery. Go ahead. As I take a sip of my fucking seltzer. You didn't pick up on that one, though, right? Folks, this is not good storytelling. This is desperation storytelling. This is the AEW effect. Good storytelling would be having Bianca show up on Monday Night Raw, having her beat Charlotte on her home turf, and then adding Bianca Belair to the match at WrestleMania, making it a triple threat match. And then having Bianca Belair pin Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania because she's already pinned Charlotte, and Charlotte won't be pinned at WrestleMania in a losing effort. Not again. Have Rhea Ripley get pinned by Bianca Belair. Have Bianca Belair win the NXT Women's title at WrestleMania. Have her run the division and move Rhea Ripley up to the main roster where she can continue her feud with Charlotte Flair. Fucking three-pointer at the buzzer. Swish, motherfucker. Pay me. I accept PayPal. Fuck out of here. Storytelling? No, folks. This is another variation of the AEW effect. Keep that in mind. Love Triple H, but the guy can get political when he wants to get political. And everybody will believe him because he's a part of the NXT roster and we just got through a fucking amazing show, so everybody's gonna fuck be sucking his dick. Oh, no. No, we don't suck dick here. Give me a break. Rhea Ripley. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, she would not mind if WWE adds Bianca Belair to the women's title match at WrestleMania 36. You don't say! You don't say. She spoke to Sportskeeda. She was asked about the possibility of a WrestleMania match being turned into a triple threat match. Rhea Ripley loves facing Bianca Belair, so that would be a welcome to the fight, or a welcome addition to the fight. She says this: if they add Bianca Belair to it, I honestly don't mind. I love fighting Bianca, and she got out, or if she got put in the match, I'd be all for it. I'm not going to argue about it and say that she doesn't deserve it, because she does deserve it. She deserves a WrestleMania moment, and if she gets added, I am not going to complain. Really now? So Rhea Ripley goes on and says that with the insane treatment she's got from Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Paul Heyman, they're all behind her push. This is what she says in regards to upper management like that being behind her. She discusses how insane that it is that she's been treated well so far, or this well so far. She says, and I quote, "It's insane to think that all the higher-ups think so highly of me, especially coming from Australia to now be a part of the WWE and having people like Triple H, who is the reason I started wrestling, to have him and Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman actually enjoy what I'm doing and believe in me. It's a wonderful feeling, and I don't know how to put it into words. It just makes me feel very special and proud of how far I've come in the business and how much work, time, and effort, blood, sweat, and tears I've put into this." That's great. That's great. She's on a destination with a rocket pack strapped to her back. That's fine and good, as long as it remains organic, which at this point, I don't even feel like it's remaining organic. I feel like it's just drifting off into this very unnatural territory, and that's the reason why this match is happening. All for the sake of AEW and all for the sake of a fucking rating on Wednesday night. That's the reason why this is happening. Give me a break. Otherwise, Charlotte Flair did not need to win the Royal Rumble. She didn't need to win the Royal Rumble at all. Now, if WWE booked the women's division better on Monday and Friday nights, we wouldn't be in this situation with Rhea Ripley needing to defend the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania. People are like, oh my God, it's the first time ever. Oh my God, why don't you just enjoy it? It's a different match. It's fresh. It's new. It's this and that. There's a reason why these things happen. I'm the reason why I give you the why. The most important question in any storyline when it comes to pro wrestling. Why? If you don't have a why, you have nothing. You have nothing. If Rhea Ripley gets added to or if Bianca Belair, rather, gets added to this, that's the way it should be. what is Bianca going to do? She's going to challenge Charlotte Flair, lose, and then what happens to her? There's a reason why you're continuing this with Bianca Belair involved. She's going to be in WrestleMania. She has to be at WrestleMania in this instance, at this point. If not, what is she going to do? Are you going to call her up and have her do nothing? Now, if they call her up and put her on SmackDown, I'd love to see Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Again, take my money. Take my fucking money. You have all these women that are so incredibly talented at your disposal, and this is the state of the women's division. Garbage. Confusion. And WWE's pushing and booking who they want. It sucks. It sucks. All for a political fucking agenda. Whether it's the Android agenda with Charlotte Flair or the AEW effect, there's a reason behind everything. It's not happening because they want to do it. It's happening because they are desperate to seek attention from other resources or other sources. AEW, Wednesday night, NXT, ratings, this, that. Ridiculous. WWE is possibly going to feature 6 women's matches at WrestleMania this year. And I ask why? Why? 2 is enough. 2 is enough. No more is needed. Oh, JT's a sexist. JT's a sexist. Why? Because I don't want my WrestleMania card loaded with fucking filler? The only thing I want filled is a fucking cannoli shell. Not WrestleMania with 6 fucking women's matches this year. Dave Meltzer noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there are 6 women's matches planned for this year's WrestleMania show. 2 of them, however, have already been announced. Baszler versus Becky. Well, it's unofficially announced, but it's going to happen because she's not going to not win the Elimination Chamber. Charlotte versus, hopefully, Bianca and Rhea. But right now, it's just Charlotte and Rhea. And on SmackDown, Bayley... Oh, I'm sorry, 3. 3 women's matches this year. Bayley is more than likely going to challenge Naomi. Or Naomi's going to challenge Bayley after she takes care of Carmella on SmackDown tonight. So, Friday, tonight. You guys are seeing this on Saturday. She might have already beaten Carmella. Who the fuck cares? Another women's match will feature the women's tag team titles being defended and a battle royal, of which I have no interest in. The tag team titles are going to be defended. Why? Why? Who is going to challenge the Kabuki Warriors? And why would I care? Oh, great. Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross. Or Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. Oh, joy. Folks, they're giving you a bathroom. They're giving you the itinerary to take your fucking bathroom break. That's exactly what they're doing. Asuka deserves better at WrestleMania. Asuka deserves better at WrestleMania. 6 women's matches, give me a fucking break, man. I think we're fine with the 3. And the SmackDown one is even pushing it. Just the fact that it's Bayley versus Naomi. It should be Bayley versus Sasha. Give me a fucking break. Naomi recently asked to move. Speaking of Naomi, she recently asked to move to NXT because she was unhappy. She said this in a recent interview, and she spoke to Women's Wrestling Weekly. I asked about a year ago to go down to NXT to work. I was just thinking, NXT is awesome. I love NXT, and also the time I wasn't being used much on the main roster, I was like, damn, can I go down there and just see what I can get into? What could happen? And the talent down there is so good. Just so good. And this was at a time where I love Bianca and her personality and her spirit is even more beautiful. So I had that one idea. And Naomi noted that she wants to work a match with Bianca Belair. I think that would be fucking fantastic. And it's speculated that Bianca Belair is either moving to the main roster, Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania anyway. So that match could take place on the main roster after WrestleMania is over. So we don't know. We don't know. But this is all I have to say on this. This is a clear example, and the next story I'm going to read to you is a clear example, that no matter how much money you're making, that is never the end-all, be-all for happiness. You're a pro wrestler. You want to wrestle. You want to achieve. You want to work with others who you find extremely talented. You want to test your skills. You want to advance in this industry. Nobody wants to sit complacent and make money and only make money and not do anything and sit on your ass. She wants to challenge herself, and they told her no. They told her no. And now you see that Naomi's back on TV and she's thrusted right into a championship program on SmackDown. Why? Because she was unhappy. It sucks. It really does suck when a talent gets to that level and they have to ask to move down to NXT, which is seen by the majority of the audience as the third brand that you want off of SmackDown and Raw to go back down to NXT. Nobody should be asking that. That's a shame WWE even has someone on their main roster ask that of them. Do better. Make the shows better so everyone is happy. Tyler Breeze even asked to leave WWE, so they put him in NXT. He was actually interviewed by Chris Van Vliet. Breeze was at TakeOver 25, which was a great show, and I believe he fought Dream one-on-one, Velveteen Dream, for the North American Championship on that show. That was last year. So he was interviewed by Chris Van Vliet, and Breeze revealed he was unhappy with how long he was out not being used, and he asked to leave the company. However, they wanted him to stay and suggested a move back down to NXT. I was like, I don't think I want to wrestle anymore. Like, I don't think I want to. I had a conversation like, if you don't need me, I need to go. I don't need to be here. It kind of got turned into, okay, well, we don't really want to see you walk, and we don't want to see you go, so let's make this work. I mean, that's when I made the transition down to NXT, and it's kind of started to reinvigorate me a little bit. I went to a couple of schools around Orlando to try and get the juices flowing again because I was really disheartened. And the one word I take out of all of that is that he used disheartened. He didn't have love to even wrestle anymore. What does that say, folks? You can't be that stupid to see that the reason why WWE throws money at everybody is to keep them. They have so much talent that they don't know what to use with, and this is the result of that. Whether you sit like Tyler Breeze and do nothing because they don't value you and they want to keep you on the roster and just pay you to not go anywhere else, or you end up like an OC where you're just a fucking loser. Gallows and Anderson are losers just to stay. The Revival would take that deal to be losers just to stay. Mojo Rawley has taken money to be a loser just to stay. Dana Brooke has been a loser her whole career on WWE TV. And she's taken money to be a loser for the next 5 years. Jinder Mahal, money for the next 5 years to be a loser. Heath Slater, money to be a loser for the next 5 years. Then you get Tyler Breeze, who wants to fucking work. He's one of the best workers in that company. And he used the word disheartened. He said he didn't want to wrestle anymore. That's what sitting on the sidelines and making all this money does. He wants to wrestle. He wants to show his talent. He wants to prove his skills against other elite competitors that are up and coming. He wants to go out there and make a name for himself. That's the end goal here. That should be priority number one for everyone. If the Revival listen to this interview, I guarantee you they're in the same boat. They're disheartened. They're not valued. They don't want to wrestle anymore. I guarantee you. Every time they show up to work, they don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. So change it. Do something to be reinvigorated like Tyler Breeze was. I started to realize that wrestling wasn't the problem. He says wrestling is awesome. It's just when you're in a certain spot and you get this certain mindset, it's hard to kick out of that. And I was just in that mindset and I was getting angry and bitter, and I realized that wrestling is not the problem. Yeah, WWE creative is the problem. The fact that WWE doesn't value you is the problem. I'm glad they sent him down to NXT because he is a guy, again, not a game changer, not a difference maker, but a valued hand that could single-handedly go in there and bring you to the best match on any given night. That's how great he is. Why they would want to let him go? I'm glad they didn't let him go. But he wanted to go because he wanted to wrestle. You want to wrestle? Wrestle for us. And that's when they said, move to NXT. Finally, guys, this is a quick one. I said it in the beginning. Vicky Guerrero has been banned from having WWE stars on her podcast after a recent AEW Dark appearance. This is what Vicky Guerrero said on her podcast last week. Since she appeared for AEW, WWE stars have not been given permission from the company to appear on the show. She says, and I quote, to be a part of the promotion or anyone You should encourage the people that are in the other promotions because it's about everyone showing their talent and their craft. I think there's enough jobs out there and promotions to let everyone work and to let everyone contribute to what they want to do in the industry. So when someone told me I couldn't interview the superstars because I went to AEW, I was just like, wow, they're going to be like that. So you just quietly move on and you see how they are and you just have to take care of your own business. Vicky then went on to explain that she was left confused as prior to her AEW appearance, WWE officials hadn't called her in over 2 years. They didn't call me for over 2 years. What did they expect me to do? To just sit here and wait for them to call so I could do some work? I love wrestling. I love to work in the ring. And if someone is giving me an opportunity to go and show up and have some fun, then I should be able to do that because I'm not obligated to anybody. End quote. And then people want to work for WWE. Vince McMahon was on the conference call for the stockholders for the Q1 conference call. Who wouldn't want to work for WWE? Not when you fucking elicit behavior like this. 2 years the woman waited, and then you take the opportunity for her to interview your fucking talent? Pretty sure Vicky Guerrero has a large audience for her podcast. She's a widely respected figure in pro wrestling. Pretty sure WWE was supplying her handsomely with some talent. And now they will not do so because she went to go appear on AEW Dark. WWE is petty. And if you need any more of a fucking reason that there's an AEW effect and it exists, example A right here. Not example A, this is example fucking Z. AEW effects. It's real. It's real. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for all your support. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below with a comment. Leave a comment, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications. Manscaped.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys get 30 days and your free audio book. Anything you want. Over 200,000 choices to choose from. Make sure you check out all my other content on the channel. Link is down below in the description. And make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Another off the script in the record books for this weekend. Epic as always. And I will see you guys right back here for a brand new week. It's going to be a busy week next week. Insanely busy. Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, NXT, Super Showdown. And then we got AEW Revolution. And then SmackDown. My God. Hang me now. Hang me now. Will somebody fucking donate to the Patreon so I can go buy myself some fucking extremely strong cold beverages? I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.